It's been a weird few seasons for Arsenal. I say weird because look, last season finished 8th, the season before that 8th, the season before that 5th, season before that 6th, the season before that 5th. The last time they were in the top 4 was 2015-2016 when they came second behind Leicester City, who won the league and that fantastic season. They've made what looks like their first major signing anyway of the season, and that will be Ben White coming in from Brighton. Brighton's player of the season last year, formerly obviously on loan at Leeds United, where he was fantastic in the Championship. Good signing, 50 million, yes, no?
I think for, when you look at Arsenal, he's played 36 games for Brighton.
Yep.
Is it the one for the future? He's 23 years old. Definitely one for the future. I don't think you can know too much about someone.
One for the future, 50 million quid. Arsenal don't have that kind of money to spend on ones for the future.
No, in the sense that age-wise as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Age-wise. So he needs to work out because Arsenal are not in a position to, shift out 50 million for a player. He'll definitely have to start, and if it does happen and medical is all good, and get going. It's a difficult one. It's a lot of money. But they're looking at, the years ahead, and they see a future. They see, someone who can come in, and he does play. He can play midfield, can play at fullback. He needs to have a situation at 50 million. You've got to be a master of your position, and that's what you sort of got to be.
50 million for Arsenal. You have to come in, and it has to start immediately.
Yeah, the trouble is like for me, it's all about progression. There was a time when Van Dijk was up. The deal didn't happen at Liverpool. Maybe he's done behind the scenes, but did it actually go for him? I don't know. There was a moment Suarez and put in 40 million plus £1. That doesn't buy him.
Yeah.
That just makes you kind of you have to say to Liverpool, oh, someone's put in 40 million pounds and £1. But 55 might have bought Suarez, and who knows? Arsenal might have won the league by now. That's the case. You have to look at the missed opportunities that sometimes you're going to push the boat out. In the end, what did Van Dijk go for? Like 60, 67? I mean, you look at it.
You look at Arsenal, you look at some of the signings they
have done. There's Varane. I mean, they're still not done. I mean,
can Arsenal attract a Varane now? Again, I mentioned where they finished last season, 8th, 6th, 5th. They haven't played Champions League football for I don't know how long. They can't attract a player like Rafael Varane anymore, can they?
Well, Arsenal's a big club. And if you get to the stage that you can't attract, I mean, they lost the guy. Lost the guy to Villa.
Buendia.
I think 10 years ago that would have happened.
3 years ago, that's not even happening. You're not losing a player in a contest with Aston Villa, and I guess that shows the direction of the club now. What's going on with Arsenal in this transfer policy and the targets? I mean, Thomas Partey came in for big money, 45 million. That's kind of, some will say it's worked out, some will say it hasn't. But you look at players that have come in, and it just seems all wrong, doesn't it? I mean, Willian's come in from Chelsea, and that's clearly not worked out to the point where I think Arsenal fans will be happy to see the back of him. What's going on behind the scenes when it comes to Arsenal and looking at these players? Okay, that's an Arsenal player. This is what we want, and this is the direction we go. Almost feels like they're just, just anyone to come to the club.
I think for me, when you look at, say, Ozil, just look at the Ozil scenario. That situation that he, Sanchez wanted to stay, and if they did the deal quick, he would have signed for a lot less money, and then in the end, Man United offered a fantastic deal, and he's gone. And I felt, they thought, we can't lose another big player, so they spent a lot of money on Ozil. Some people say it's worked out, other people not worked out, and a lot of money in wages wise just to keep a top player.
Same with Aubameyang.
Yeah. So for me, Edu's come in, and I'm sure he's in trying to kind of get the kind of policy. There's Arteta, he's got something to say, whether they're actually thinking on the same lines. And then you've got the budget. I don't think, when you look at it, the best of the, Arsenal are not going to compete with, say, Man United, Liverpool,
So
Man
put your
City.
managerial hat on for me here. If you were Arsenal manager, what type of player are you going for at the club? Almost to close that gap. And you're right, look, the budget isn't there to go and spend 75 million on Sancho. You can't do that. You can't spend 74 million on Harry Maguire. You're right, the budget just simply isn't there for it. But if you were trying to attract a type of player, who would you be bringing in?
I busted the gut to bring in Varane because when you look at it, it's like it's instant. You know, what he's won in the game, what experience he brings to the game. And also, for me, when he's on the pitch, he can teach the other guys around him.
Commander, leader.
That's what you want. And he's young enough.
Yeah.
He's in his best years. Yes, you know, he's had a wonderful career at Real Madrid. But, hey, bring him in. Bring him in. That's what it's all about, you know, bringing that quality in with experience and get those guys through the cup. I mean, I'm not saying, you know, there's Boateng out there. I don't know. You know, he's leaving. I don't think the deal's done at, you know, wherever he's trying to go at Bayern. That's a player you know, to kind of, hey, work out a deal and get him in. He might not play all the time, but he might play. And he's a good character. Those are the deals you should be getting through.
It's almost, you look at what Chelsea did with Thiago, right, coming in. Again, people will say, you know, it may be past the age, but all of a sudden, Christensen looks fantastic aside him. Rudiger looks like he's now come back to his best form as well. So clearly, it makes sense bringing in an experienced defender. Gabriel's at the back. What's Gabriel, 22, 23?
Yeah, he's young.
He needs someone to almost guide him at the back, and you wonder if that player, well, it will be that player now, but is Ben White that experienced, obviously look, only a season in the Premier League, to be guiding someone like Gabriel, to be marshalling the back four? Is he that guy at 23, 50 million? I keep saying the price tag just because it's a lot.
Yeah, forget about the price tag. It's all about, is he, you know, experience and is he going to command? You know, I don't know much about him, but obviously, you know, he got into the Euros and things like that.
No,
and
clearly a top player.
Yeah. So for me, you know, hopefully it does work out. But if you want that kind of instant and you want to build, you bring Ben White in, then but also you bring a Varane in. You bring both of them in.
Yeah. You clearly can't afford to do that at the club. I mean, let's be honest, that's the money's not there for Arsenal to do that. How have you found Arteta since he's been at the club? I mean, we just spoke about Ollie at the top, and everyone seems to somehow link the two of them. Obviously, won a trophy, which I feel like almost masked over the problems at the club. So everyone was almost like, okay, we've won a trophy, we're back, we can compete for top four. You certainly can't right now as an Arsenal fan. How have you judged him so far?
You know, he came in, you know, for that FA Cup run, and it's worked out really well. Yeah. But obviously it has turned, and I'm not saying the real gremlins, I'm not saying the real problems, but I think they realised that there were problems at the club, you know, player-wise. And it takes a long time. You know, you can't just ship players out anymore. It takes time. And also characters as well. Sometimes you got to be able to handle some of these big time characters and, you know, massage the ego, but get the best out of them. It's all about, as I said, managing players, managing the egos.
Has he failed to manage Aubameyang?
Well,
from what we've seen, again, this is from the outside looking in. We obviously are not privy to see what goes on in the training ground and behind the scenes, but Aubameyang's gone from a striker that I think was one of the top strikers in Europe, and everyone was saying he still is, but last season wasn't the best season for him at all. And you kind of wonder, that little falling out of Arteta, where I think he turned up late for training and was put on the bench, or not even on the bench, sorry, not even in the squad. That's not managing your best player, is it?
I think that scenario, I think when you look at it, that's obviously doesn't look like it's the first time that's happened. So for me, when that does, you know, scenario kind of raise its ugly head, that should have been nipped, you know, in the bud, maybe, I don't know, a month ago, 2 months ago, 6 months ago, who knows? And then you're not having the problem later on down the line in the derby. Yes, worked out, but you still got a top striker not performing to the best of his abilities.
Yeah. That's a simple case of it. I will confirm as well that Arsenal have made a couple more signings. Nuno Tavares is coming, Albert Lokonga's coming as well. Definitely 2 more squad players, both for the future. How far are Arsenal off it? Like when I think I'm talking top 4 now, which was almost a banker under Arsene Wenger, and that wasn't enough for Arsenal fans at the time, right? Because this is the team that, when you were playing, were winning titles. This is the team that were competing and going head to head with United. They're way off, aren't they, Arsenal? I mean, look at Arsenal. They finished 8th last season. And in my head, that's kind of where they are right now, 8th.
I think it's you never know in football. You can have an amazing start and you just get the right formula right, and you go from there. But other teams are just, you know, investing, keeping and investing. You know, then you see the team just, you know, slowly kind of slip away. So the top 4, I mean, it's going to be a miracle for us, you know, Arsenal, to get into that top 4 for sure.
Very quickly, where do you think they finish?
I think if he gets the right players through the door and he gets the right team, I think, you know, maybe 5th or 6th. I can't see that top 4. Unless an amazing run starts.
I think Arsenal fans will bite your hand off now for 5th or 6th. I think that's how dire it looks right now at the club. That's what I think anyway.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.